Hello there everyone, and welcome to our September 2025 video hop for our September release. Remember to keep going on the hop so you can get in all of the inspiration this time round. So this is the card that we are going to be making, and I'm going to be using the fabulous Fresh Pears. Now this is the kind of most recent of our creative cuts, and it is so cool. So we have a number of different pears, we have a branch, and we even have like a halved pear that you can use with other sets that you have. Maybe using this with the pie die would be a good way to use this. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut all of the images that I have in this die set from watercolor cardstock. So the cardstock that you can see on my die cutting machine there is the watercolor cardstock from Altenew, and this is the cold press, so it has some kind of tooth to this one. And as you can see, I'm just laying all of the little dies that we have onto this and then die cutting it. So once I'm happy with the placement there, I am just going to add the kind of top cutting mat and then run that through my die cutting machine. And I did that with all of the dies that we have in there. I'm then going to add all of the die cuts that we have onto my large sticky mat. This is amazing. And I have my watercolor to the side. This is the 24 pan set, which is the artist one. I love this one. This one is my favorite, and you can see how well it is loved with the kind of colors that I have on the side. What I'm going to do first is I am going to color in the little blossom that we have in these die cut pieces. I've added water firstly to the die cut, so that's going to kind of soak in a little bit to that watercolor cardstock, and then I'm just adding a dot of color to the center of the die cut, so it kind of flows out from there. The color that I'm using is the kind of cherry blossom that we have. This is the pinky color that we have in the watercolors, and it's the kind of fourth from the top on the right hand side. As you can see how I have my pan set out at the minute. I always kind of had it on its side. I don't know why. But yeah, that's the way I'm going to go with it this time. I'm then going to add some color to the kind of base of the little blossoms that we have, and also the little stamen. So for the stamen, I'm going to kind of mix in two different yellows. One of the earthy yellows, which is on the left hand side, fourth from the bottom, and then that bright yellow that you can see, which is fourth from the bottom on the left hand side. So I've just mixed those together and added those to the stamen. Okay, once I'm done that, I'm then going to add a little bit more of a brown color, and I'm going to add that to the flower centers and also to the branches. So I decided to add some more brown. I wasn't really liking the effect there, and I went for the really dark brown to add the color to the kind of top branch bit. The one on the left hand side that I've already colored, I didn't really need to worry about that one too much because that will be covered with that dark brown branch that I've just colored in. For the little stalks and the little pips that we're going to have in the little pear, I am going to use that same brown that I've just mixed in, and just adding a little bit of darker color to really get into that dark feel that I wanted to go with this card. So once I have finished that, I'm then going to mix some greens. Now I tend to have a lot of green mixes already on my little palette, as you can see. So I'm just going to kind of add on to that. So I don't really have a definite color that I'm going with. One is already there, and I'm just adding some of the greens that we have, and it's just your preference. I also do add yellow to my green mixes. I do love the kind of vibrancy that adds. I am going to go ahead and kind of make each of these leaves a slightly different color just by using a different mix of greens. I find that adding the water down first and then adding the green color to the base of the leaf really does give me that beautiful gradient effect with the watercolor. If I do find that I'm having too much pigment on my little die cut pieces, I'm just going to take a piece of kitchen roll and just take some of that off. You can do it with a dry brush, but it does take a lot more time than kind of just grabbing a piece of kitchen or tissue and just dabbing it on those watercolor pieces and it'll just bring it up. For the pears, I wanted kind of a golden green colour, so I am adding that browny yellow that you can see, which is fourth one up, to a green mix, and I am loving this colour. This really does look like a pear colour to me, so that is what I am going with. Keep mixing colours in if you're not happy as well. A little bit of brown is really going to kind of earthify, if that's a word, the watercolours that you have, and just kind of adding more water is going to really lower the saturation of the pigment that we have in there and just make it lighter. There's a lot of different ways that you can kind of go with this. If you wanted to, you could definitely just cut these out of cardstock and that would be, you know, quicker to do. But I do love the fact that I've got my watercolors out for a change and I'm going to get a completely different look with my die cuts. I am adding a little touch of pink to that one because I found that kind of the open flesh of a pear has a, I don't know, like a blush hue to it. As you can see, I am using my tissue just to kind of bring up some of that pigment to give me that a lighter look on my little pear pieces as well. So I've nearly finished with these, with my little pears. I am just going to add a slight wash to the little highlight pieces that we have on the pear and darken up some edges with the colour that I've already mixed. Once that's done, all I need to do now is kind of finish off my leaves. I wasn't happy with the saturation that I had of the green, and once the watercolour had dried a little bit, I decided to add some more green just to the base of the leaves to give me more of a contrast when it came to that. I did leave all of my little watercolour pieces to dry, and I did leave them quite a while. I left them about an hour before I went back to assemble everything. I am using some wet glue for this, but if you wanted to use double-sided adhesive, that's completely up to you. It will work as well, just as long as all of your pieces are perfectly dry. Any glue is going to work to stick these together. So I'm just using my wet glue. I do have my guide over to the side, which is on the back of the packaging of the die set itself, and I'm just using that to put these pieces together. It doesn't take a lot of time. I love putting die cut pieces together. It's really like a really easy jigsaw puzzle because all of the pieces fit together perfectly. You have the Keyhole system there to really help you out as well. So as you can see, I'm still just kind of beavering away at putting these pieces together. I just love how these come together, and that watercolor paper that we have, kind of all of the different gradients that we've got on this, makes these die cuts so interesting to work with. So here I'm just adding those little pips into the half a pear that we have, and we already have like a little indent or a depression of where to put them. So it makes it so easy to know exactly where to put things when you're kind of given so much guidance to where these die cut pieces are meant to kind of work together perfectly. As you can see, we have the Keyhole system for all of these little leaves, and all you're going to do is kind of line those up. We also have them on the pears. I don't think I should have put the stems on these as well as the branch, but I did. I mean, it's probably not the best way to go about it, but I did it, and I'm not mad at the kind of end result when all of this came together. It just looks so pretty. I love all of the kind of light and dark stuff that we have with the watercolors on there. So once the pears were all done and all of the branch was complete, I just then had the little blossoms to put together. These are so easy to add together. We do have that little keyhole there, so it's just a kind of exercise of just lining that up, and you don't need to worry where the petals go. They kind of just arrange themselves perfectly. I am going to add one of the little stamen pieces and also the flower centers to those little blossoms, and I'm just going to do exactly the same for the second one there. Just add the petals into place, the little bits of the stamen, And then we also have that flower center. These look so cute. If you wanted to create more of a masculine design, you could definitely either leave these blossoms off or add a little less color to them so they're not so pink, or even just leave them white. It's completely up to you. Here is my main element, and then we're going to create a background. So I have another piece of watercolor cardstock. I'm using watercolor cardstock because I wanted that extra thickness to it to work with the letterpress. So if you don't have cotton cardstock, you can use watercolor cardstock. And I'm just adding mocha ink to one side of it, so I'm kind of coloring it in. And then to add more of a grungy effect, I just added a little bit of water and let that dry. I'm then going to be using the amazing wood grain letterpress that we have here. Oh, I love this design. It is so pretty, so classy. And I am going to use the espresso ink onto the letterpress, or the better press, and I'm then just going to run that through my system so I can add that texture and also that darker ink color to the watercolor cardstock that we just created. Just look how classy that looks there. So we're then going to add the background piece that we've just created to a card base. The card base is 4 1/4 and by 5 1/2, and I cut the background piece just a little bit smaller, so we're going to have a 1/4 inch all the way around. So I cut 1/2 inch off the top and 1/2 inch off one of the sides, so we could get that kind of equal border around the outside of this piece. I am using some of the instant dimension foam tape from Altenew to add a little bit of height to this piece and just a little bit more luxury to the whole card. So I'm going to add that into place. I'm then going to be adding my little pears into place as well. Again, a little bit more of that instant dimension foam tape right on the back, and then popping this into place. I didn't like that one of the leaves was hugely sticking over the side, so I'm just going to kind of cut that one off and then leave the other ones just peeking over the edge. I'm then going to create my sentiments, and this is the Solid Sentiments 3. This is the newest in the collection, and I'm going to be using the fabulous metallic bronze ink to add colour to this. Now, with a letterpress or a better press plate, you can foil it, but I wanted to show you that if you don't have a foiling machine, you can still get the look of foiling if you are going to be using some metallic ink, and it just looks fabulous. So as you can see, I'm just tapping that all the way across. I find that tapping metallic ink is probably the best way to do this. My swirling motion that I normally use for dye ink didn't go well with the pigment ink, so it's more of a tap with this one. And then I'm going to run that through my machine, and you can see just how beautiful that fake foiled going through the die cutting machine. I'm then going to use the coordinating die, which works with all of the Solid Sentiment strips letterpresses, to die cut those out all in one go, which makes me very happy. A little bit more foam tape on the back of that is really going to pop up this sentiment, and I went with the heartfelt thanks. I just thought that was really cute. I'm then going to use some gem sparkles. These are the smoky quartz, and I've gone with the darker color because I think that this is really kind of a moody kind of card that we have going in here, and I think that these really dark smoky gems are really going to complement that. One of my gems was not sticking, reason being my watercolor background probably wasn't as dry as it needed to be. So I'm just going to go ahead, and when I'm adding it to the background, I'm just going to add a little bit of the glue just to make sure that it sticks on there. They stick perfectly fine to the really dry parts, but the wet parts, not so much. So here is my card complete. I really do hope that you like this. Remember to keep hopping and get some more inspiration using this fabulous release. If you create a card inspired by this, it would be great if you share, because we would love to see. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you again really soon. Bye-bye. Wait, we have more where that came from. If you're after fabulous card making tutorials, you are definitely in the right spot. Our amazing design team create and upload fabulous video tutorials right to this YouTube channel. If you don't want to miss another amazing crafting tutorial, don't forget to subscribe and click that fun red button that you can see. Let's become paper crafting experts together.